Tenet opens with an opera house heist mission. The packed, maskless audience on screen makes for an apprehensive mood within the COVID context, an interesting duality that only presents itself when I am socially distanced and masked up myself, hoping that any other ironic imagery doesn't suck me out of this time-warping sci-fi thriller. Instead of dreams, time is the primary motif here, but in a much different way than Inception and Nolan's previous film, Dunkirk. Time can be your friend just as easily as it can be your enemy, something that the protagonist, played by John David Washington, slowly begins to realize. What looked to be intricately grueling ended up being rather invigorating for lead actor John David Washington, whose performance pushed his physical and mental limits further than ever before, starting with the first time that he read the script. I got the chance to have some digital discourse with John David, who reflected on everything from understanding the puzzle of a screenplay to encountering his fear of heights when jumping off a high-rise in Mumbai with co-star Robert Pattinson.
I can read, you know what I'm saying? But this script took me 4 hours to read, man. Like I would read 10 pages, go back 5, read 15, go back 10. But it's just brilliant writing and such a high concept that it took me a long time to read. And I found myself trying to catch up to Christopher Nolan, the writer-director, the entire time we were shooting, which was fine because I still felt good and had a great foundation to build on creatively. But I need to see it a couple more times just to really, I would like to do this again in like 2 weeks when I can see it twice more and I'll be more confident with my answers.
Preparing your lines, inflections, and gestures is just a tease when compared to some of the meticulous physicality that John David endured from Nolan's vision. John David being the record holder for rushing yards at Morehouse College certainly helps, as the football star turned actor clearly had the job experience to take on the role.
I basically had to learn 2 characters' fights, both forwards and backwards. So that's like 4 different fights, and these moves have never been done before. So there wasn't like a place I couldn't outsource, everything was in-house. Everything we were doing, they developed, months before and then started to redevelop and as we were going, which was a part of made it so much fun as well. Knowing that I'm a part of history when it comes to the physicality of this character. I took it very seriously. Having a football background, I was able to apply certain aspects of my background into this, but it's different because football, I'm operating in the laws of physics and gravity as we know and understand it. All that is being kind of blown up in a concept like this. So learning how to blink, talk, walk, fight, block, run in the inverted world made it extremely difficult. And so the repetition, the practice every day of it, really, I leaned on that heavy. So on the first day of principal photography, it became a dance. I was just instinctually moving and my body knew what to do. I wasn't thinking. But yet now you got to act too. Now you got to, and the character at certain times has never seen this kind of movement. I mean, it's alien-like looking, and it's dangerous. It's almost horror, like it's body horror. Learning how to learn my lines backwards, say them backwards. There's like learning a whole different language. So certainly just learning these rules of inversion and all the stunts and learning how to evade punches and throw punches in reverse. Then the defending yourself becomes the attack. And when you're on the attack, you're actually defending yourself. Learning these different fights, forward and backwards, right becomes left. Laws of gravity and physics are now shifted and blown up. Was extremely challenging and so much fun.
Director of photography Hoyt van Hoytma doesn't make it easy for the actors to hide any spotty choreography, with John David's inverted fight scenes helping him better comprehend Nolan's time conundrum.
Crazy, and like you said, it is all in camera. And Hoyt van Hoytma, our DP, was like right there with us. I ended up kicking him on one take because he was really in the fight. And I remember him saying, like, during the take, I was like, "I'm sorry." He was like, "No, keep going, keep going." So to say the least, everybody was there for the right reasons. Everybody did their own stunts. So I had no excuse. I had to persevere.
The stunts, reversed speech in real time, and dedicated adherence to an alternate realm of physics are just a few of the integral parts that make the world conceivable and felt, with the inverse action having a hefty jolt to it that can only be described as exponential. It starts low and it ramps up quick. Tenet's tools build a metaphysical playground that confuses as much as it perplexes, and it's all by design. A design that not even Washington began to grasp until he started enacting it, allowing the relation between the journey of his performance and his character to feel all the more relatable from the audience's perspective.
The title in itself is a palindrome, and so is the movie in a way, if that makes any sense. And so and how we deal with time and inversion, and everything is interchangeable except for the point of entropy. So I think that's what he was going with it. But what I love, what is so brilliant about what Christopher Nolan does in all his films, and particularly this one, is you don't necessarily have to get that on the first watch. It's meant to be experienced. There's so many huge set pieces in the locations. There's 7 different countries. The globe-trotting spy. It's every location takes on a different personality, and therefore the film does in a way. And seeing our protagonists in these different settings, in these environments, it's just cool to see, and it's fun, it's eventful. And the times that we're living in right now, for those 2.5 hours, you're not thinking of anything else but where you are. You can experience the Amalfi Coast, the Mediterranean Sea, him slicing through the waters of the Med, up close and personal, like you're dropped in it. You being the audience and the protagonist are one-to-one. As the protagonist learns and finds out things, so does the audience. And that's like a very immersive experience. It's like it's up close and personal. It makes it very exciting and fun.
Now I'm just going to let this part play because this is me asking my question to John David in real time.
Read the script from day one with your character and its motivations. You look at Ron Stallworth in BlacKkKlansman, you know that obviously he wants to infiltrate the Ku Klux Klan with this investigation. More than that, there's unwritten context to this character that you don't know, but you see through their actions. And kind of looking at your character of the protagonist in Tenet, I took a big sense of that, where it was like, I know this character has motivation, and you get to see that play out in real time. So how does that responsibility balance between playing a real life person in a real life event and a science fictional world?
I appreciate that question, man. It's interesting, playing somebody who's alive, playing a real person. There's definitely different responsibility, maybe even more pressure, because I didn't want to imitate. I wanted to embody what he went through in his spirit and everything that goes into it in a Ron Stallworth. But in this way, it was sort of similar with a man like this. I wanted to play a human being. He's not a superhero in a way. He's not, and you see a lot in these spy genres and these action films that it's sort of played a certain way, which always works. But I wanted to take a chance and be a human being, and being a human being means the kind of what motivates him. His backstory informs why he makes the decisions he makes, why he's feeling what he's feeling, and what he's feeling, hopefully the audience is feeling simultaneously. So that experience that you're having through him feels real. It feels authentic. It seems like it seems tangible, because I was trying to almost be a vessel in that way, because he's so open, and I think his vulnerability is his greatest strength. As a spy, you're supposed to be, you got to be, there's a certain toughness and this persona of not giving anything up and everything. But I think what he cares about is what separates him from another spy, if you will. I think what he's willing to die for kind of separates him from the bad guy. What are you willing to die for? What are you willing to sacrifice? And all of that going in, there's certain things I definitely wouldn't sacrifice for, my neighbors. Sometimes, no, that's my cookie, right? So I just, there's certain things that he's willing to do that I admire, that I had to learn how to do. And getting, background information from Navy SEALs and people that served was very helpful and instrumental in trying to construct the character as well. So I just was excited to do that, and Christopher Nolan allowed that to happen. He encouraged that humanity aspect to the character to be present, and sort of the through line as we go forward into the story.
Tenet's out now. Thank you to Warner Brothers for the interview. And yeah, more interviews coming soon.